Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Second Cup.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mercedes.
How are you?
So exciting to have a different co-anchor this morning. Mercedes, we appreciate you coming in and filling in for Ed while he's on vacation.
Yes.
The Cuppies love to tease Ed about going on vacation. They're always
well, you do too. You do too.
No, Mercedes. That doesn't sound right. Because, you know, the thing is, Ed never teases me.
Uh-huh.
So
Never.
he's fair game when he's not here.
Never.
That's the best time to tease him when he's not here, right?
Yeah, but y'all have fun though.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm
Oh.
good. How are you?
I'm good. We never get to see each other. We work on two different floors. Same building, two different floors.
It seems like two different worlds,
Doesn't
but it's really
sometimes?
not.
I know. It's
Really
so
not.
crazy. Hey, we've got a whole bunch of people who are already joining us this morning. Megan and Lauren, Peter, hi, Michaela, Felicia, good morning. Everybody say hi to Mercedes.
Good morning.
Look, Peter says, hi, Mercedes. Welcome back. Got Skittles with you?
I was gonna say no food this morning. No food. No food. Oh, Skittles sounds so good too.
I love Skittles.
Skittles sound
Those
fabulous.
are some of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mercedes is a perfect guest for this morning, a guest host for this morning. And we also have another guest because we've got some stuff we're talking about that you've got a lot of experience with. So you have kids.
Yes.
Tell us
a lot of them.
Okay, tell me your family dynamic for the
Yes.
Cuppies who don't know.
Yes. So my husband and I have 4 children. 21-year-old son, 18-year-old daughter who just started UB on Monday. Woo, go Gabby. And then we have 9-year-old twins that are
Okay.
going into 5th grade,
Very good.
which is middle school, which I disagree with.
You just don't think they should be there yet.
They
huh?
should be 6th grade,
Yeah.
not 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Is there a
yeah.
big change between 5th and 6th grade?
I think mentality, I think maturity, and then they start middle school in 8th or high school in 8th grade. It should be 9th
Oh,
grade.
Interesting. Yeah.
It should be 6th and 9th. But
Yeah.
yeah. So 21, 18, and then 9-year-old twins.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is why Mercedes is a great person to have on the show today. And any of the parents that we have with us, I would love for you to chime in as we talk about all of this, or people who have kids in their lives, because we're talking a little bit about parents' mental health
That's big.
and how important it's become, because there's a new report out that we're going to kind of touch on.
Yep.
And we're also talking about kids going back to school and the anxiety that they feel as they're going back to school. And I'm assuming you've seen this over the years.
Yep.
So I also promised you guys, on top of Mercedes being here, we'd have another guest. So one of my best friends, who I literally grew up with, went to kindergarten together.
Aw,
and
that's so
on.
sweet.
Yep, still best friends, lived together for years. Her name is Bridget, and she has 3 kids of her own.
Mm-hmm.
And Bridget, hi, good morning to you. Say hi to all the Cuppies.
Good morning, Cuppies. Thanks, Katie and Mercedes, for having me.
Hello.
Well, thank you, Bridget, for joining us. So we appreciate Bridget being here. Bridget, tell us your family dynamic too, and then also tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I am a mom of 3. My husband and I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So my kiddos are going into 2nd grade, kindergarten, and then my youngest is starting a little pre-K program. And I'm, in addition to being a mom full-time, because that's a full-time job, I'm a behavior consultant and parent coach. So I have a consultation service called Childhood Behavior Solutions. And my goal is really to help support parents and help them navigate any challenges that they are seeing in the home or school environment. Parents hire me to kind of talk through their kid hitting or toilet learning, defiance, all those wonderful behaviors that come with growing up, because these young kiddos are, they're learning and they're testing boundaries, and, parents, there's not a lot of, support out there, and no one really tells you how to parent, your own child. Every kid is unique. Every family dynamic is different. The environment is different. So parents hire me, teachers hire me to help, really notice any patterns in the environment and just develop customized plans for them to help them, respond appropriately to challenging behavior.
And I'm sure this is something a lot of people are in need of at times, because parenting doesn't come with a guidebook.
It does not.
I
And
see
she's
you
so right.
As she's saying stuff, I hear Mercedes going, yes.
She's so right. Each kid is totally different. So you have to treat each one of your kids different according to their needs.
So let's start by talking about that and kids going back to school. Okay. Have you noticed over the years? So your oldest is 21 right now.
Mhm.
Have you noticed when they go back to school that each of them kind of operated differently? And what did they need when they were going back to school? What was going back to school like at your house?
Well, I have some introverts, some extroverts. So sometimes with the introverts, you have to do a little more coaching. It's going to be okay. With the extroverts, my son, he was one I had to kind of go sit in the back of the class and surprise him because he would not stop talking. He just wouldn't. And he wasn't funny the days I was there. It was so weird. He just wasn't. But I have a mix. So you have to coach some. And then with the twins, I've had to kind of have them speak to the one that's a little more extroverted and say, if you see your sister struggling, help her out a little bit.
Yeah.
So
so
they
nice.
can lean on each other a little more. But the personalities, the range in personalities is huge.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got a lot of parents with us this morning. Linda says she was married in 1979. Her husband had 5 kids. They included twins, and it was stressful getting used to.
Yes.
Kathy's saying in her day it was K to 6, then
Yes.
7th to 9th, then 10 to 12. Lauren Bridget saying that she loves this and she loves this idea. My mom chiming in with quite the comment this morning. Hi, Bridget. Is it too late for you to hire you?
Oh, Mrs. Moore, your
I love
children are
that. I
perfect.
love that.
Your children are
Hello,
perfect. You don't
Mom.
need me.
She means for David. She means for my brother. I
That's
can't
what
believe
she
it.
meant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what she meant.
So, Bridget, you were kind of saying the same thing too. And here, Kathy's chiming in. Some kids learn by visual, some kids learn by audio.
Mhm.
Parents, let us know what you've noticed with your kids. And Bridget, you were just saying you had a conversation with your kids, kind of doing something similar to what Mercedes said.
Yes, you're exactly right. Like even though I have 3 kids and I am, the same mom, I parent them so differently. And you have to. You can't, there's not a one size fits all model inside your home. So to get ready for today, I did ask each of my kiddos, what can mom and dad do to support you going back to school? And, we've been doing things for the past month or so to help prepare, but I really wanted their feedback. Who better to ask than the kiddos themselves? So I asked my 7-year-old, I was like, Rory, how can mom and dad help you? And he said, give us all the information. Which he's right. He wants to know his teacher's name. He wants to know what time the bus is coming. He wants to know his schedule, his routine. We've been practicing getting up, earlier in the morning and brushing our teeth. So he wants to know all the information. I asked my 5-year-old daughter, and she said, take me school supply shopping. That's how you can help me. She's the shopper in the family, which
Very literal.
Yes.
I don't know where she gets that from.
Yeah, right. We don't know where she got those shopping habits. Yeah, certainly not.
Yeah.
love
So 5-year-old wants to go shopping. And that actually is a great, segue for one of my tips that I tell the clients that I work with. Involve your kiddos as much as possible in this process, whether that's, picking out their first day of school outfit, picking out their school supplies, practicing packing their lunchbox, talking through friend situations. So all of that is so crucial in helping kind of decrease some of the back to school anxiety. And then, of course, I asked my toddler, we're definitely in the throes of toddlerhood right now over here. And I said, Noah, how can mom help you go back to school? And he said, I go to school all by myself. So he doesn't need any help. He's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my godson that she's talking about. I'd just like to take a moment to say that and let you all know he does not need anyone's help.
Yep.
See?
He's
A very independent 3-year-old.
yes, very self-sufficient. Yeah.
So let's see. We've got Carol who says, my grandson had to be in school today. Get used to middle school. Get used to bringing your school supplies.
Yep.
So that's something else too. It's like as they start these new, different grades, now there's new requirements for them. There's
Yes.
new things they have to do. Did you notice that? And then how did you work through that in your house?
Well, I will say this year with the girls going into middle school, their supply list was less items.
Oh.
So I was very, very happy.
Mhm.
Very, very happy. They're excited they did a great job. The school district did a great job of preparing them for what's to come. So they taught them how to do the locks and do the lockers. So they're more excited.
Yeah.
So there's a little less for them to learn. The school district did a great job of kind of preparing them.
Yeah.
So they're looking forward to what they learned last year.
Love that.
Yeah.
Bridget, let's say you have a child who's maybe like really apprehensive, because I feel like that's what I'd be most nervous about. Like, it's cool if you have a kid who's excited because at least you can like build off that excitement. But what if you have a little guy who's like really nervous and kind of apprehensive? What would you recommend for parents who maybe are trying to, make them feel a little bit better as they go into this first really unknown? I'm thinking maybe even like someone going into kindergarten, for example.
Right. Well, and that's the boat that I'm in this year. Is my 5-year-old's going to kindergarten, so she is definitely feeling apprehensive. And some of the things that we've been doing over the past month are, reading books about first day of school. There's a lot of great books out there about that kind of address the separation anxiety. It really depends on what your kiddo is struggling with or what they're apprehensive about. So it's important to really ask your kid, like, what about going back to school is making you feel worried? And then you can kind of go from there. A lot of the times it is the unknown, the change of routine, not knowing where your classroom is. Luckily most schools have, back to school nights or meet the teachers before school actually starts. So that's so helpful for them to know where their classroom is. But yeah,
you know what, Bridget, I've got a question here from Paula, who says she's got a 3-year-old grandson. He's transitioning from daycare to nursery school. So that's a really different change, like a big change. And the nursery school is actually in an elementary school building. Is there something you'd recommend to try to prepare him?
Sure. Again, reading books, talking about exactly what he is going to expect in this new change in routine. The more information you can pump them with, the more they will feel prepared. I also recommend, especially with the younger kiddos, I do this with my own kids. I will draw like a little heart on their wrist and on one on my own. And that's like, if you're feeling sad or if you miss me, you can look down at this heart on your wrist and I'll be thinking of you too when I look at my heart. I've also seen parents do bracelets. I got my daughter a really cute, like back to kindergarten or starting kindergarten bracelet that she'll wear and then I'll wear. So just those little, pieces of connection that you can have with your kiddo will make them feel less worried.
That's so cute. Did you ever do anything like that, or did you have kids who felt anxious about going to school?
They were anxious, but I think one of the benefits I had is I had older ones.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
That helped. But I'll tell you, Gabby, during COVID, going back, we had to do a lot of different practices. So maybe I love that idea of the heart. But with Gab, we would check in.
Super cute. Yeah.
But that was around the COVID time because she developed a social anxiety.
And that was its own,
yeah.
The COVID times was its own crazy time for all of us. Okay, so we transition from kids, and if anybody has any questions or anything you want to let us know, of course, chime in as always. But parents, here's my other question for you, because we have a lot of parents and grandparents. Do you feel the stress? Do you feel the mental load? There's a new advisory from the U.S. Surgeon General's office highlighting the need to better support parents, caregivers, families. Okay, and it's parents who are reporting they are feeling super stressed. Talk me through that stress as a parent. What's that like? And why is there that additional stress?
Because let's just be real. Kids can be mean and you worry about bullying. If you have multiple kids, it's expensive. It is very expensive for back to school. You're wondering about food. You're worried about lunches. You're worried about, should I put them on the bus or should I take them? Because you have some kids that don't want to get on the bus. And then you have some kids that there's the guilt of, do I take that 20 minutes back and put them on the bus? So there's guilt, there's money, there's the pressure of, is my kid going to be okay around other kids? How are they going to deal with the stress of bullying if it happens? Or do I have to talk to my kid about being the bully?
Right.
So there's so many different dynamics, especially when you have multiple kids.
Yeah. And Bridget, to you, not only are you a parent, but you also have parents come to you. What kind of stresses do they kind of run through when they come say, hey, I could use a little help with X, Y, and Z?
Right. So with any transition, whether it's back to school, whether it's, going to a new, school or going to, going on a trip, like with any transition for young kiddos, it brings a level of anxiety. And that's kind of what is underneath. But what we see with our own eyes is aggression. We see defiance. We see, just delaying, procrastinating on the morning routine. So a lot of families consult me because they're rushing in the morning, their kid's not listening, they're barely getting out the door. It's very negative. So a lot of parents are like, I need help, with my routines. I need help getting my kids to listen. So it really, but like Mercedes says, the laundry list of things that parents have on their brain at any point in time is just so long. And it's really never ending. There's never a day where I go to sleep and I'm like, oh, okay, I can check off all these boxes. It is just.
It sounds nice and relaxing, you guys. I don't know.
It is the biggest blessing, but with that just comes just so much stress. And Mercedes is right. There's so many things that are out of our control when we send our kids to school, and that social piece is huge. So another thing that parents can do to help their kiddos prepare for those social situations is role playing. I do this with my kiddos all the time. We practice how we can interact with a friend that's being kind. Or, with my firstborn, he's a little timid. So he has some trouble initiating conversation or going to join a group to play. So we practice, starting a conversation like, hi, my name is Rory. Like, what's your name? Or, hey, can I play? So we role play a lot, those kind of situations. And I also role play what it is like to be interacting with a mean kid or a bully, so that's a big piece of it too. And I remind my kids all the time that unfortunately, no matter where you go, whether it's school, whether it's camp, even adults, we encounter people that are not kind or people that are still learning how to be a good friend. So here are the tools on how to tackle that, because that's such a big piece. Kids are
I need her help.
Yeah.
I can hook you guys up
because I'm the parent when my kid comes home and says someone is mean. Okay, what's the parent's phone number?
Yeah.
Let's go up to the school. Let's have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Let's just and my daughter in high school is like, Mom, please don't. So with the elementary school kids, maybe it's different. Mm-hmm. But once my kids hit high school, they were begging me, please don't, Mom.
Please don't
let me handle it.
Yeah.
So then we would have to role play. But elementary, middle school, Mom was up there.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
And it's hard because your kids are in somebody else's hands, right? When they're at school, that's got to be so stressful. I just want to pull up a couple comments we have here. Aaron Mason says, this is such a great conversation and I'm not even a parent. And then Lauren says, I agree, Aaron. I just love this conversation. Melly says her son gets really nervous. He won't get on the bus. He gets bloody noses when he thinks about getting on the bus. And it really is really sad. And Kim says kids can really be awful. Anita says there's a lot of peer pressure. So everything you guys are talking about, we're hearing from the parents here.
Yeah. I think it's important as parents, and you can please disagree or agree, but it's important that we recognize if our kids are the aggressor.
That's
and
true.
confront that.
Yeah.
Because my girls were having an issue with a girl on the bus last year, and they were like, we don't want to go on the bus anymore. We don't want to go on the bus anymore. And I'm like, girls, who's really the problem here? So I went over to talk to Mom, and Mom and I chatted it out, and we realized that they were both. So I learned some things about my girls, and she learned some things about her daughter. So we taught them both at the same time. So you have to be open to your kid being that kid.
That's a good point. And Bridget, it's probably really important for parents to at least try to have some sort of open conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I think, you first start with getting the information from your kiddo, but Mercedes is right. There's always another side to the story. And sometimes it's a tough pill to swallow, recognizing that your kiddo might be part of the issue, but relationships are a two-way street. So to some degree, your kiddo is involved in some way, shape, or form. So it is important to address that head on with your kiddo, but yes, also have open dialogue with other parents, their teachers. One of my biggest pieces of advice to parents as their kiddos are going back to school is be on the same side as your teacher. Your teachers are in a tough spot these days. It's really challenging to be teaching in a classroom right now. So be on their team, do what you can to support them. And if it is, some social situations that are arising, just be there to support, whether it's a meeting, whether it's, just doing work on the home front, because it really all starts with home, like what they're learning in the home. And practicing kindness is a big thing that I emphasize with my kiddos. And, I just think people could use to be a little more kind these days.
I think that I would agree with that without having kids of my own. I think that, yes, we've all seen every now and then you see some people who you're like, okay, that could go better. Linda's reminding us how different things used to be. I was in 6th grade and my teacher hit me across the back with a pointer stick. Don't we hear these stories sometimes from all those years ago? People will tell us this, and we're like, are you kidding me? This happened. My parents have the craziest stories from when they were growing up and the things that they saw in the schools back in the day. But thankfully we're not dealing with that these days. But Linda, that's, taking us back to 6th grade all those years ago. Kim says, listen, I've always told my kids, don't take any bull, but don't start anything. because then you have to deal with me.
I like that. I like Kim. I like Kim.
Exactly. Yeah, Kim, that's so true. You guys, this has been a great conversation. Is there anything else that you think before we go, or I'm going to give the cuppies one last minute, and then we've got one more topic. We're going to talk about apple picking. Woohoo. But I'm just wondering if there's anything else that you guys think of that comes to mind as parents. One thing I was going to say is they recommend when stress is severe that parents take that time for themselves.
Mhm.
So I just maybe wonder if you guys could touch on that, like if you feel as a parent that it's important to take a little time for yourself and what that does for you.
I started with, and I felt guilty at first, taking the extra 20 minutes by putting the girls on the bus in the morning to take that time. After we chatted about it, they were cool with it. And I take that time and I have my cup of tea. I just kind of breathe, have my moment. And then they take the bus home, which gives me a little time in between.
Does that make you a better parent?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when I'm frazzled and they're walking in and I can't give them my attention, that extra 20 minutes does a ton for me. So, I mean, it's different for each person.
Yeah.
Because some people work later, so they don't have that. But finding that time somewhere is a big deal.
How about for you, Bridget? Is that important to take that time for yourself?
Yes, I completely agree, Mercedes. If we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not going to be our best self to take care of our kiddos. It's that classic analogy of when you're on an airplane and if it starts to go down, you got to put on your oxygen mask first. And then, you can help the individuals or your family around you. It is so important to take that time. And like Mercedes says, it can be really challenging to find that time, especially if you have multiple kids, 2 working parents, or even, stay-at-home parents. It is so hard to prioritize that time. Like, for example, yesterday, like right before dinner was at my house, I had to ask my husband for like a break upstairs. Like my kids are a little off the wall. It's like that. It's like the back to school. They know it's coming. I needed like 20 minutes. And I was like, if I am going to be able to function during this dinner, I just need to like go upstairs, lay down, and just like get myself.
Take a minute.
So, I mean, it doesn't always have to be outside of the home either, like finding like, exercise or reading or just meditating. These are things that can be easily done within the house. Even if you don't have another, spouse or partner at home to help offset that time, you can even tell your kids like mom needs a break. That is totally okay. And not only that, but you're modeling for your kids that it's okay when you feel overwhelmed to go take a break. That's a big thing that we're working on in my house is taking breaks. So,
Oh, I agree. I mean, even, like not having kids, but having the work and the weird schedule that I have, like sometimes you just need to take a little minute, and you need to recognize too, when you need a little rest.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to refresh yourself.
My kids know when I don't rest, we clean more.
Or they're like, Mom,
So
sleep in.
they want me to take a break because if not, everybody's washing the wall, somebody's mopping,
How do you get that to translate to husbands? Just out of curiosity, I'm wondering if that might happen at my home.
You don't.
Oh, you don't.
You don't. I'm gonna be real with you.
Let me
You
tell you,
don't.
this is a good one. My neighbor, I talked to my neighbor the other day. She's like, now, does your husband really clean? And I go, excuse me? And she goes, he was over here the other day chatting with me. He's walking the dog, and then he said, well, I got to go tidy up the house.
No.
I go, let me assure you that he thinks he does.
Maybe some people do, but no.
No, he does his best. It's just, a little different. I'll say it's different than I would.
Katie,
Bridget, thanks for joining us. It's been a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. Best of luck to all the parents and their kiddos going back to school.
And Bridget, sometimes they say some of the best ways to relax is just to like grab a glass of wine with your friends. So if you ever think of a friend that you just want to get together and have a glass of wine with, you just give me a call.
You are my girl. And if you need a behavior plan for Paul, I'm your girl as well. So let me know.
Perfect. Thank you. If you get working on that, that'd be fantastic.
Nice
Thanks,
to meet you.
Bridge. See you later.
Bye.
That was fun.
Yeah, so that's one of my best friends from growing up. Oh my gosh. Okay, and I did want to hit some of these comments too, because we had some good ones. Lauren was saying she feels guilty for any me time she takes, and she's got 2 little ones. Lori says take a deep breath when it's possible. Shirley says moms need that me time. Cindy says she still believes the phone and the internet can be really bad distractions for kids. Anita says take a minute away from the kiddos.
I agree.
Connie says she can feel that way too. And it was 30 years ago. She was a single parent when she felt that way. Linda says hubby's cleans and does chores. Connie says thanks for the help. Howard says, oh, Howard, why did we not think of this? We need a behavior plan for Ed. Thank you. We'll see if Bridget can get working on that. No, see, Mercedes, that wasn't even me.
Oh my
The
God.
puppies know. The puppies know. Kathy says hubby tries his best because she's still healing with her foot. Yeah, it was just funny because my neighbor's like, he must love to clean. I was like, what?
Mm-mm. My husband does laundry.
Very nice.
He does do the laundry.
No, Paul is ridiculously handy, so he can do all this. I ordered a plant stand the other day. It came in about 400 pieces, and I was like, "Uh-oh," and that'll get put together, but not by yours truly.
Well, does it really count that he does the laundry if he doesn't fold it? That's the question. If you wash and dry it, but you don't fold it, does it count?
If it's sitting there and it's all wrinkly, then I got to say
Correct.
no because that makes me nuts.
It does not count.
Tell him I'm sorry. I'm
Yep.
sorry. It's got to fold too.
Gotcha.
You guys, this has been a great
Yeah.
topic. Are you coming back tomorrow?
Sure.
All right. Maybe we'll talk about coming back tomorrow. Maybe we'll have Mercedes back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We had about 200 people with us this morning. It was a blast to talk to all of you. We'll be back here tomorrow, finally Friday.
Yay.
Bye, guys.